Good evening to everybody. How's everybody doing? God bless every single one of you. Please share this video as we are starting right now. Share this video. This is going to be something that a lot of people are, I have been talking about this interview for the past days. We have been talking about this interview for the past days. And the most important thing about this is that the truth will come out as transparent as it has to be said. Most importantly, this is extremely important for the American people to know the reality and the truth about what is happening in our borders in the United States of America, the borders of Mexico, and ultimately, it is really important to actually say if things are going to get better or things are not going to get better. Please share this video. I'll wait for some people to join in. Today, we have a phenomenal guest, a fantastic guest today. I don't know, his presentation is absolutely, just outstanding. What he has done for his country, it has been, an honor for what he has done for his country. Defend his country in this particular, scenarios that they are so much difficult and they are so hard to do and put his life at risk to protect this country and ultimately to put an example for the newcomers, the new agents, these people that they're trying also to protect the United States of America. It is really important that we have these kind of individuals in our platform. And, these kind of people, they need to be on every platform around the United States of America. They need to be in every platform so they can say what is actually happening in these organizations like ICE, like in the Department of Homeland Security. What is happening with the organized crime that you guys know as more as cartel? What is happening with human traffickers? It is all related with politics. Does it have to do with decisions of presidents caring about their border security and presidents not caring about their border security? All of this, we need somebody that it can say to you the reality. And today, really special guest, share this video. Today, retired Special Agent Supervisory Victor Avila. Let me bring him to the screen right here. Share this video so we can start. Right here is Victor. How you doing, Victor?
Hi, Oscar. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for giving me the time of the day. It is really important for everybody to know, and I have some really important questions to ask you, and the audience has been waiting a little bit on this. Tell us a little bit about yourself before I start with the questions. I know that you're a retired special agent supervisory of you were ICE and you were working for the Department of Homeland Security. If you can tell a little bit about yourself.
Yes, I'm originally from El Paso, Texas. I'm a first-generation Mexican-American. My parents immigrated to this country legally. You're looking at a product of the American dream. And when my parents came and did it the right way and the legal way. And I was born and raised in a border town, very familiar with the border. And most of my law enforcement career was at the border. And of course, we'll talk about my career that led me into Ciudad Juarez and Mexico when I actually went to serve as an ICE special agent, now Homeland Security Investigations. I became a special agent in 2004, right after the merger when immigration, remember the old Immigration and Naturalization Service, INS, when INS merged with the U.S. Customs Service, and that's why it's called Immigration and Customs Enforcement under the Department of Homeland Security. And so I went through the growing pains of the two agencies being combined
Wow.
which really did is exploded the authorizations of violations that we investigated. Anything that touches the border of the United States or has a nexus to that border, ICE, HSI has the jurisdiction to investigate.
Wow. Wow. Now, talking about, let's get right into it. A lot of people really want me to just, try to get and sponge every information out of you. So the first question that I will, go directly, talk about your experience as an agent and the dangers you went through on the mission that is related to the book that you have behind you, that is Agent Under Fire, and that, this horrible experience that after that, it happened a murder to one of your partners and colleagues, and it was one of the worst, I believe, the worst time of your life, possibly the worst scenario of your life, and talk about that, and also if you can have your take on what the Obama administration did for you on that particular time with ICE.
Well, like you mentioned, Oscar, in 2008, I was assigned to the U.S. Mexico office and the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City, the ICE office there. And at the U.S. Embassy in Mexico City, there's all U.S. law enforcement housed in there: DEA, FBI, ICE, U.S. Marshals, Secret Service, within there with our own separate missions. In February 15th of 2011, and that'll be 10 years next week, will be the 10th year anniversary of the ambush that Jaime Zapata and I went through at the hands of the Los Zetas cartel.
Wow.
We were assigned go to Mexico City to meet our ICE agent counterparts from the Monterrey office to go pick up some equipment from them. And this was through Highway 57, which is a main corridor between Mexico City and all the way up north towards Monterrey. And it was I challenged the assignment. We had a lot of intelligence and information that road was not safe to travel. As a matter of fact, the U.S. ambassador had set an alert prohibiting any U.S. personnel from traveling on that highway for business or personal reasons. And so I challenged that. I talked to my friends, ICE agents at the Monterey office, and they said, "Yeah, Victor, we're having a lot of problems. Los Zetas are having firefights with the military and the police, and they control that whole corridor." And I said, "Why are we going picking this equipment up by land? Why don't you send it via air? Why don't you send it use a diplomatic pouch, which is other secure method to send it?" But all those issues had already been dealt with and had already been shut down. I came in at the very end without being fully briefed. And they said, "No, you need to go. You need to go get it, and you need to go get it tomorrow." And so the assignment came on February 14th, and they said, "You're going to take Special Agent Jaime Zapata, who had just been in the country just a little over a week on a temporary duty assignment out of the Laredo office."
Wow.
And they said, "You're gonna help. He's gonna go help you, so you could drive. It's a long drive." And so we headed off on February 15th in the morning. We made contact with our friends, the other ICE agents. We picked up the equipment, put it on our armored Suburban, and we were heading back. After we ate lunch, Jaime took over driving, and he started driving. And shortly after, within 15 minutes of him driving, two SUVs full of armed men forced us off the road on the shoulder on Highway 57. And there's a lot of details that I go over in the book. I go in detail about the shooting, but eventually they were able to introduce an AK-47 and a handgun by my armored window that had been lowered a little bit, and they opened fire, striking Agent Zapata, fatally wounding him, and I got shot 3 times and survived by the grace of God. And so there was a big commotion that happened there. We lost a U.S. federal agent in the line of duty in Mexico, and the nightmare didn't end there. It actually just began for me after that under the Obama administration.
What happened with that, Victor? Because we want to get into details, because the Obama administration, as I'm going to touch one subject that leads to another subject, and it has to do with one administration with the other one, but I don't want to jump into that. But if you can just relate to me and your feelings right now and express to me with all your heart did you felt that the Obama administration was taking care of ICE, and did you felt that the Obama administration was completely backing you up in this horrible situation that you gave almost your life for the United
Yeah.
States of America? What did you felt in this particular moment afterwards, the aftermath?
In one word, betrayal. In
Wow.
another word, failure. It was a horrible, horrible time for my family and I, and the Zapata family as well, to go. They had just lost their son, and it was a horrible feeling not having what you just said, the backup from our government. I was a very loyal federal employee, and I loved my job, and I worked hard, and I was a proud agent that worked hard and really tried to make a difference, especially in the human trafficking, and we'll get into that. But we didn't get it. We didn't get it from the Obama administration, and at that time, the people that were the head of ICE, the high level management. Unfortunately, my family and I suffered because they didn't know what to do with me. I think they were afraid of what had to say about Fast and Furious and the guns, and we're going to get into that. And so there was a lot of issues going on there. We did try to sue the government. Nothing happened to that. It was all dismissed. And so we still to this day have not been able to obtain any documents from the government because President Obama asserted executive privilege, an order that he asserted on Fast and Furious and our shooting. So we have no access to those documents.
Wow. 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 That is horrible. I imagine the trauma that you suffer after this, looking at your partner being his life taken away in that particular moment. How was your recovery, after that? Because it's not easy. It's not easy to,
No.
a lot of Americans, they don't know about this, Victor. You and me kind of like we can understand, bodies being dismantled in Mexico, shootings and all this kind of stuff. It is part of our normal life over here. It is kind of like, oh, there's a shooting over here in the corner. There's a shooting over there. It's a trauma. But looking at that scenario in that particular time, how do you recover from that?
It was a long recovery road. First, there was the physical recovery. I got shot in the chest and twice in my leg, and so the
Wow.
physical recovery was about 6 months. Get back into walking, and all I wanted to do was get back to work. Believe it or not, I still had that mentality of wanting to get back to work. But the real trauma was the PTSD and the emotional side of it, that the night terrors, a lot of the stuff that people don't see on the surface, and they're like, hey, well, Victor looks fine, it looks like he's great. Well, there was a lot of issues there, and I was in a very, very dark place. And I like that you asked that question, because I am very, very aware of the troubles that we see today in our law enforcement officers taking their own life, with the highest rate of suicides. And so officer wellness to me is also a big priority, to make sure, and I point my view and my experience, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. My family had almost everything to do with it. Why you see me here, because I had their support. I wasn't a very good person to be around after the shooting, but they stuck with me, and I had a lot of care and medical care, and a lot of people came together to help me. Kind of ironically, a lot of the people had nothing to do with ICE. It had to do a lot with other people that really helped me out. So I'm glad that I sought that help, and here I am, 10 years later.
God bless that day. You were saved, and everything. You look, excellent today, and you're doing phenomenal things now. Let me tell you this: Mexico is number one for cartel activity, number two for child trafficking right now in the world, number four for human smuggling, number five for clandestine bearings. Has 5 cities on the top five for violence and delinquents around the world. Has more than 85,000 murders right now in the first 2 years of this president due to cartel and violence. You got, in the past administration, you had Donald Trump that made some statements that a lot of people did not get. Said Mexico is not sending their best. He did not say Mexicans. It said Mexico. Mexico is the government. And you get a president before Donald Trump that, in my perception, Victor, and I will be clear and I will be really transparent with you, For me, he was the most racist president that it was Barack Obama. He was the one that deported more Mexicans in history of the United States of America. Your take on the two administrations and how the perception of a lot of people don't understand what happened in the Obama administration and what Donald Trump tried to do to protect the borders.
Completely night and day when you come to the administrations. And the funny part is that the laws are the same. They're still the same right now as you and I speak. The laws have not changed. The immigration laws are the same. The customs laws are the same. And the interpretation of those laws is what's changed dramatically. And under the Obama administration, for example, he kind of did away with the worksite enforcement. Worksite enforcement are the groups under ICE, under HSI, that go after the employers that employ illegal aliens. He shut that down. He put an order when I worked there not to touch any illegal alien between the age of 16 and 28 because he was trying to get the DACA going back then. And so a lot of policy that really affected ICE. And what we're seeing today now under the Biden administration is basically tying the hands of the investigators to do their jobs. All they want to do is enforce the law. We're not there to interpret the law. We're there to enforce it. But the administration under the Obama administration, Obama Biden, and now under President Biden is a dangerous path moving forward, because I think now the Biden administration is even going to go further, much further than the Obama administration went through, especially when it comes to immigration policy.
Now, there's a lot of child trafficking. You and I know that. And now we were talking about this the other day, and I was explaining the Globalist Compact of Immigration, that this Globalist Compact is an agreement by, a lot of countries to come together and open the borders and basically opening the borders. And with this comes a lot of child trafficking. Now, I will put these images on screen because you were an ICE agent at that particular time. And there's a lot of people that they're asking about this, Victor. Mm-hmm. The cages. What happened with the cages and who's lying and who's not? And this is an image right here that I will put right here. As you guys, this happened in 2015. In 2015, this was this famous image. And you see this post about the Washington Times that said, worse yet, the administration acknowledged that it can't account for each of the 90,000 children that it processed and released since the surge of peaked in 2014. Then you see another, right here, another statement from the Washington Times saying, the Obama administration admits that it was overwhelmed with unaccompanied children, those sent on the Treasury's journey north without a parent, guardian in tow, stream across the border at the rate of more than 10,000 a month during the peak of the summer of 2014. Then you see right here the 46th president right now that is saying on September 12th of 2019, lying, saying Biden incorrectly claims Obama administration didn't separate families. Then you go again right here, another post by the New York Post says, in 2018, a photo was released of the children in cages. And you see another one right here that Obama officials rushed to explain photos from 2014 that they went viral of locked up immigrant childs and immigrant children. Now, a lot of people want to talk about this, Victor, and they're asking me this particular question. And right now, they don't know, but there's always been separation of families. I have said that.
Yeah.
Always been separation of families. Reagan, Clinton, George Bush Jr., George Bush Sr., everybody. There's always been separation of families. But the way that they have done it and the way that they have hide it, and now to portray the fact that the cages are now being used or they were being used in the Trump administration, where they were built in the Obama administration, and not admitting that they were built in the Obama administration, it's just disgusting. Your opinion on that, your take on that?
Yeah, so first of all, yes, they were built under the Obama administration. That's when they were created, when the influx of unaccompanied minors made it to the border. And I'm gonna give credit here to one of my colleagues and friends, Dr. Jason Piccolo, who was a former ICE agent. He's the one that was a whistleblower about these unaccompanied children because they were being sent into the United States after supposedly being held in these cages. Because and people call them cages. They were holding cells
Hmm.
because, like you could explain, there's always been separation of children at every level in law enforcement. If you are driving drunk with your child in the car seat in the back, you get arrested, you will be separated from your child at that time. If there's no one to take care of your child, if there's no one, no other family member, that child will be placed in the custody of the state or the government, and you are going to go to jail. They're not going to send the child with you to be next to you or inside the jail cell with you. That happens at every level of law enforcement, and it also happens at the federal level. When I arrested people within in the country on a drug trafficking case and children were involved, we had to make arrangements to place the children in foster care, in child protective services, and make a lot of arrangements because we're not going to take the children and the parent and the criminal at the same time. And so that's just a natural occurrence. Here, what happened at the border started in 2015 was just the sheer numbers of them coming at one time that eventually the Obama administration placed these kids, separated them in these what cells that are people call them cages, cells, whatever you want to call them, but they had to separate the children from the adults for many reasons, for safety reasons, for feeding reasons, for a lot of reasons that the government has guidelines to abide by. And so my friend Jason Piccolo uh, blew the whistle on this and said, listen, first of all, we are holding these children there. We want to find out who their next of kin is. Who are these children's parents? Who are their cousins? Who are their family in the United States or somewhere to place them? It's not easy to find when you have an unaccompanied minor show up, and who do you put them with? And so we found out, and he found out that they were placing these kids with sponsors of the traffickers or with children with families that were not their families because
Exactly.
they found an address and they said, oh, here's an address in Denver or in Chicago or wherever they were going, and they're putting that child back in that situation again. And so luckily he blew the whistle on that, and it kind of came to light that President Obama and Vice President Biden, that was their policy. They initiated the separation of families back in
Wow.
2015.
Wow. Now, wow. Now, I've always give the statistics to my audience because I traveled 3 times to Guatemala already, and I have seen, and you know more than this because an ICE agent is like a parent. They study all these kids psychologically. They understand the methods of every of how they are trying to portray the asylum or the loophole to cheat on the immigration and everything. As I traveled over there, 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, they think like a 20-year-old. They already think like a 20-year-old. They know how they can come across with a fake family. You got a record breaking in 2018 for 4,800 fake families. 2019, 5,800 fake families. More than 34,000 kids have been trafficked in the Caribbean since 2018. And there's a record breaking of rescued children in the administration of Trump with almost 70,000 children in the 4 years of this. A lot of people don't talk about this, Victor, and you're a specialist on this. Fake families, fake marriages have been in the history books for the longest of time. Now is wide open because nonprofit organizations are getting involved with it, the ACLU and all these organizations, that they know how to cheat and how to make a fake family and how to make a fake marriage. Your take on that?
So you're absolutely right. It's nothing new. It's been ongoing for years, and I'll give you an example. We did a case once in El Paso, Texas. We took down a smuggling organization, a human smuggling organization, caught the smuggler, and hit a local motel. And there was about 15 illegal aliens there, all adults. Everybody gets taken to the processing center. We're interviewing the smuggler, trying to get the information. And I'm actually outside there where all the illegal aliens were there. Those women and men, but all adults. And one of the ladies is yelling and screaming in Spanish, "Where's my daughter? Where's my daughter?" And I go up to her and say, "What are you talking about? Where's my daughter?" There was no kids at the hotel that we just hit. And
Wow.
she's like, "No, he has," it's pointing to the smuggler, "he has my daughter." So I go in there to do the interrogation, and we press this guy, and he gives us the information and a location out of a stash house in El Paso. We suit up and go hit this house and discover 18 children in
Wow.
that home, including this lady's 18-month-old daughter,
Wow.
and arrest 4 additional adults. And none of those adults are the next of kin of these children. They're just their smugglers trafficking these kids, ready to either. There's several ways in which they do it. One is they convince the parent, "Give me your child, we'll smuggle you separately, we'll get you through, and then we'll use the child to come in separately." That's one way.
Exactly.
The other way is, now we'll just come as a family unit, because they'll get protections that way under the Obama and now the Biden administration. And then you get the flat out, "We're just going to get a kid from anywhere and recycle this child and use them for trafficking purposes. And once he's in the United States, he or she might be used for forced labor, and of course the sex slave trade, which is horrific." And I've seen these cases, and I've worked these investigations from Mexico into the United States. I led the Global Trafficking in Persons Initiative when I was assigned to Mexico, and I was very fortunate and had a great cooperation from the government in Mexico of taking down numerous human trafficking organizations that came out of Tenancingo, Tlaxcala. I know you know that town.
Yeah.
That's where the hub of human trafficking is in Mexico, and we rescued countless women and children that were being trafficked from Mexico to Atlanta, Houston, New York, Miami, you name it. And we were successful in taking a lot of those organizations down. But it was nonstop. We got victims from young age all the way to early 20s. These guys don't discriminate. We have children being trafficked. We took down a U.S. citizen in Manzanillo, trafficking children and also distributing child pornography
Wow.
of a child, that we were able to identify the child because of the shirt that the little girl was wearing and the crest from the school that she belonged to. We were able to identify the child. That led us to the house, and with the cooperation of the Mexican government, take this guy down. And so there's a lot of cases that we could go this whole show, and I could tell you the whole story after story after story of child sex tourism, where U.S.
Wow.
citizens travel to Mexico for the sole purpose of having sex with kids. And we took down many of those people down as well. So if there's anybody out there that thinks that it's not happening, you're gravely mistaken. It's happening. And now we are seeing the human smuggling and trafficking and drug trafficking being combined into one. Now they're giving the coyote is giving a group of 80 people 200 pounds of methamphetamine, and you better take it across, because that's part of the deal, because we're going to charge you $3,000-$4,000, but
Exactly.
you're going to take 200 pounds of methamphetamine amongst all of you, and that's something that I have never seen in my career. They always separated the human smuggling from the
It's the new
drug
thing now.
trafficking.
It's
It's
the
the
new
new
thing.
thing now, because they're no longer just drug trafficking organizations. In my book, I talk about in a chapter that I think that some of these cartels should be designated as foreign terrorist organizations, because that's what I think they are.
Yes, and absolutely I agree with you. Now, getting a little bit, everything that you just said. Man, this is so just like right in your face truth. Now, getting right into what, and I don't want to dig into more into politics, because it has to do a lot how a particular political party right now thinks that child trafficking is not happening in the borders. It was just horrible to hear Joe Biden in the debate when when he was asked about a coyote, and he didn't know nothing about how he didn't know what it was, a coyote probably, or a pollero. Now, these Congress people, did they represent your country? Did they all about pampering the situation with the children? I have confronted activists right here in Tijuana that they say, so you're telling me that this family is running away from fear and their only key is to forge a marriage or to fake a family. You don't think that that is right? So they are trying to normalize that scenario so United States citizens can absorb that and say, you know what, they're running away from fear. Yeah, let them fake a family. Let them traffic a child through a fake marriage and through this and through that. What is your perception of all these politicians and Congress people that they are not saying the truth, absolutely the truth about the enormous child trafficking and the situations and the difficulties in the border?
In my almost 20 years of public service and law enforcement, I always noticed the gap and the disconnect between Washington, D.C. and the field. We couldn't understand sometimes the decisions that were made in Washington, D.C. that affected us locally in the field, because that person that made the decision had never actually been on the border, had never actually even been in Mexico, because they didn't know. And this goes along with what you're saying with our elected officials. They'll go down there for 5 minutes and stand in front of the wall, and they think they're experts all of a sudden about border security. And that's not the way it works. What I would like to see is there's a lot of people. I'm not the only one that knows about what's going on. There's a lot of people out there that know, but I want to see people like me and others that are leaders that need to be advising our congressmen and women
Exactly.
in Washington D.C. to make those decisions, to pass those bills, to interpret those laws correctly with reality, not with perception.
Now, I love your answer. Some of the things that happen under your service, that is a really difficult thing. As a Mexican, I will tell you this. I believe that it was a mistake, and I don't know if I'm saying it was wrong or it was right. That's the feeling that I get, and I get you, and I got you right here too, so you can educate me a little bit on what happened. Fast and the Furious, for me, it was a mistake. I don't know if I was right or if I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, just tell me. Feeding the cartel or feeding the organized crime with artillery and arms and weapons to try to track all of these things, or try to find a way to track weapons and try to find a way to track them. I believe that it was a humongous mistake. And the crime rate went up humongously in the administration of Enrique Peña Nieto, and everything got out of hand. Can you elaborate a little bit on what your feeling and your take was at that particular time that you served in terms of the subject of Fast and the Furious?
No, I think I'm going to elaborate a lot here on Fast and Furious. Operation Fast and Furious was the biggest botched operation in U.S. history under
Wow.
the Obama-Biden administration. Clear as you just heard it. This is an operation that, under the direction of the ATF and other law enforcement agencies, it was just not ATF, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, but also FBI, DEA, and some ICE in some what we call task forces. Out of the Phoenix, Arizona office, someone there had this idea that we're going to allow weapons, and I'm talking about rifles, AK-47s, AR-15s, to walk south. And when I say walk, I mean allow them, see them go into the southern border, into Mexico, without tracking them. Because the idea behind Operation Fast and Furious was that we're going to allow to see what happens so we could catch a big fish and in these big arms trafficking deals. Well, no one in their right mind would ever think that worked. Now, I worked in Mexico, and the biggest and the first question that I would ask with this operation is, why wasn't Mexico ever notified? because everything that I did in Mexico, a lot of all the operations that I mentioned to you right now were done with the government in Mexico because I had no authority there. I'm a U.S. diplomat. I'm a U.S. federal agent. I do everything through the government, and I had great relationship with the PGR and the Mexican Federal Police because it's their country, and we have no power there. And so I don't understand the ATF how they say we're going to let these thousands of weapons go into Mexico without calling Mexico and say, hey, here's 700 AK-47s that are going from a gun shop in Arizona down through Nogales into Mexico. Can you track it and take it down at a warehouse and arrest everybody? No, that never happened. Not only did they allow the weapons to continue to go south, the ATF went to many gun shop owners, and not just in Arizona, in Nevada, and said, you will sell 700 AK-47s to these individuals, what we call straw purchasers. Our people are clean buyers under the direction of the ATF. And some of these gun shop owners are saying, wait a minute, you want me to sell 700 AK-47s to this guy? I can't do that. But ATF says, no, we're the federal government. It's okay. It's an investigation. Allow them to do it. Well, they did. And eventually they were held, these gun shop owners were also held responsible. And some of them were placed in jail when they didn't want to do it anymore.
Wow.
And these weapons, Oscar, as you said, went directly into the hands of organized criminals, of the cartels. And thousands of Mexican nationals have been killed. 2 U.S. federal agents have been killed. Agent Brian Terry, Border Patrol agent, Brian Terry was killed 2 months before our shooting. Special Agent Jaime Zapata, of course, in February 15th of 2011. Agent Brian Terry was in December of 2010. And that's what blew up all of Operation Fast and Furious. There was another agent that came up and blew the whistle and came out and said, this is wrong. We shouldn't be doing this. And so 2 of the weapons that were recovered in our shooting that Los Zetas used against us to kill Jaime and shoot me were part of and linked to Operation Fast and Furious from Texas. So the model was from ATF and these other law enforcement agencies, we're going to use this model and we're going to use it all around the United States, which is just insane, right?
Terrible.
And so our guns that they recovered, one was purchased in Dallas and the other one in Houston, and they were just allowed to go into Mexico with no detection. Do
you think that this was the worst program possibly for security or program worst in history? Do you believe that this was a big, gigantic mistake?
Absolutely. I think in the words of my friend Daniel Horowitz, he's a great guy. If you don't follow him, he's the one that coined it, the Mexican Benghazi. That's how big this is. Our shooting, tied with Fast and Furious, is the Mexican Benghazi, and I think it's the biggest botched law enforcement operation ever.
Wow. So it is this amazing when you get to understand the whole purpose of what was Fast and the Furious. It goes more deeper than that, and I know that it goes way more deeper than that. Now, I want to ask you something. You got in the past administration, there's always been a wall. You know that. There was the Clinton wall, there was the Obama wall. Obama put up a wall also.
The Bush wall too.
Bush wall also. And now it is the Trump wall. Now, I have said this, and I get a lot of feedback because of this. Donald Trump knew what it was coming. He knew that it was a mass migration, that it was coming due to the globalist compact of immigration that he did not sign and Obama signed on 2015. Have you seen a decrease, or what is your perception? Has the wall helped? Has, for you, your understanding of this, has the wall changed the perspective of Border Patrol agents and ICE agents to say, something is there now, it can stop, it can intervene, it can do something. Before we could not do anything. What is your perception right now of the wall? Does it work? Does not work?
The wall works. The wall needs to be completed. It's important that it gets completed, and now we don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the pieces that are there. The wall. I wish I had the wall in some of the areas in East, down in Southeast Texas, where along the border, where there's huge crossings. I saw SUVs full of drugs come across the Rio Grande River with
Wow.
no barrier. There's nothing there. I wish there would have been a 30-foot wall. Those vehicles wouldn't have been able to cross through. I've seen the backpackers, 16, 18 individuals carrying backpacks with drugs, with cocaine, with heroin in their backpacks, just cross and dump them over and then run back into Mexico. That the wall would slow them down. And I'm not naive. I know that the wall is not the solve all problem. The wall stops everything. It certainly does not, but it definitely is an additional tool that Border
Yes.
Patrol welcomes. That the real experts are the Border Patrol agents, the ones that are on the border on every single day, that stand there and guard our the protection of our country. They welcome that wall. They want the wall. It'll what's happening where you're seeing right now that the construction stop. Guess what? Where there's a gap, they're funneling all the traffic where the gaps are at, where the wall wasn't finished, and they're sending overwhelming amounts of people through those gaps. And believe me, Border Patrol wishes they had the wall there, because the other technology that we have along the border is still going to work. We still have the drones, we have the sensors, we have the lighting, we have additional resources. And the wall is just an additional resource. This has nothing to do with immorality. This has nothing to do with racism. This has to do with the protection of our sovereignty.
Amazing. Amazing. Great answer. Now, this is the Biden administration just coming in. In the debates, you saw, and I believe that it was one of the mistakes of Joe Biden, of saying, I'm going to create a better pathway for migrants to migrate all the way to the United States of America. This immediately provoked, when he got elected, caravans started happening, and it started pouring into our country. That is possibly, Mexico is right now the trampoline of the world. It is the hotel of the world. They're coming through our country, passing by, and inevitably their dream is to go to the United States of America. My question to you, is it a big mistake what Biden is going to do, and it is doing right now? And just be clear and transparent. Is it going to get better with Biden, or is this Obama 3.0?
It is absolutely going to get worse. And not only has this is worse than the Obama 3.0. He has done so much damage in the last few weeks that he's been president, more than I saw Obama do in his whole 8 years. This is how bad it is. You talk about the signal that President Biden has sent is a magnet for illegal crossings. Now, I'll be the first one to say, Oscar, I'm a Mexican American, and I'm a humanitarian, and I'm a compassionate person, and I'm all for legal immigration, just like my parents did it. But exactly. I oppose illegal immigration because we have laws in our country. We are a sovereign country, and people need to respect those laws. I don't understand why all of a sudden we welcome and open the border for everyone, because here's the issue with that. We're not worried so much about the economic migrant doing something to us. It's about those special interest aliens, what we call SIAs, that are coming from special interest countries like Somalia, like Bangladesh, like Yemen, like Iran, like Iraq, that come here with terrorist ties to possibly commit a terrorist act on our land, just like in 9/11. That's the issue. The cartels, guess who else is coming in? The cartels, they're already here in the United States, all over our communities. They are here overseeing their products, the methamphetamine, the fentanyl, and that poison that they continue to bring into our communities. Guess what? Well, now it's going to make it even easier for them to bring in all the illicit substances that they want, all the cartel members that they want, and everyone that it's a ripple effect, right? You know, you have these families, children, all these individuals coming in a surge to our border. Right now, President Biden has already reinstated catch and release.
Yes.
as we speak. So for people to know, it's catch and release into our country, not release back to their country. And
No.
it's right now, there's so many of them, they're taking down their information. There's no time to vet them properly. There's no DNA. There's no biometrics taking of that person. We're taking you at your word that you're Jose Lopez or Abdul, whatever it is, and there you go. We're putting you on a Greyhound bus, and you're on your way somewhere in the United States, possibly to never be seen again. We're going to give you a notice to appear, and that notice to appear is
More
going to
than
come in
likely,
three
he's
or
not going to
five
come back.
years, and
Yeah.
they're not going to come back. And so this is the way the Biden administration is circumventing the legislative process, and they are granting amnesty in this manner.
Now, one of the things that it happened, it was the tolerance, the catch and release. When the Trump administration cut that, because in the year 2018 or 2019, I don't remember, when it was still catch and release was going on, 70% of the people did not return to court. And it is obvious that they're not going to return to court because they're not going to obtain the asylum. Now, what they want right now, and what nonprofit organizations, and this is amazing, Victor, the nonprofit organizations from the United States and activists from the United States are the one that they're pushing for the asylum case and the refugee case to be heard and to be attended in the United States of America. Now the United States has to provide shelters, has to provide clothing, has to provide schools. What is your take on that? Due to the fact that we are in a COVID situation, we are in a pandemic situation, the economy is trying to, restart again. The businesses, we are trying to restart again, not only in the United States, but in my country of Mexico. And now you get this other problem that is coming. The immigration courts are going to be clogged like you don't even imagine with, asylum case or asylum case and asylum case. What is your take on that?
Well, first of all, that's why I love your live streams, because you're speaking the truth of
Thanks.
exactly what's going on down there. And I'll give you an example. Title 42, which was the health crisis title, is a law that we can deny the entry of people because of, in this case, because of COVID. All of a sudden, COVID doesn't exist under the Biden administration, and these individuals are coming in. And we've seen already the places like El Paso, Texas, that have been overrun their hospitals with COVID cases of people coming in from Mexico. Now, not just people from Mexico, but U.S. citizens and residents of the U.S. that live in Mexico. That's another thing that we could talk about. But they've been traveling back and forth. And now that Biden has opened the border, they have overrun that city so much that they have been flying patients from Mexico into the interior parts of Texas for treatment that the U.S. taxpayer is going to pay. Now, Biden has already undone that. They're right now putting people up in hotels so supposedly can quarantine people. I mean, illegal aliens to quarantine. This is insane. You and I have to wear a mask, but yet they're allowing illegal aliens from many parts of the world, not just, by the way, Mexico, Central America, but from Haiti, from Cuba, from Brazil, from China, from many, many countries around the world. And let's not forget that part of it as well. There was just, as you know, the 11 Iranians that were detected by U.S. Border Patrol in Arizona. Those are the ones that were detected, Oscar. We don't know what we call in the law enforcement world the gotaways. How many of those got away? How many of those are already in our country? Not the ones that are coming up to Border Patrol and turning themselves in, because that's what they're doing now. They don't need to hide. They come up to Border Patrol, turn themselves in, get processed, and they come into the country. The ones that we have to worry about are the ones that are not wanting to get detected by Border Patrol, the ones that, even though the border is open and you can come and seek asylum, do not want to seek asylum and still want to come in here illegally undetected. That's the scary part that I always concentrate on. And those are the ones that possibly have ties to terrorism.
There's a question right here by the audience that says, why do you think that the left or Biden or Obama would want this catch and release? Why? What is the purpose?
The number one reason is I believe is they want the Hispanic vote, plain and simple. They want the Hispanic vote. They know the threat that they felt at under the Trump administration. Trump got the highest number of Hispanic votes ever. And as you know, Hispanic Americans will be the largest majority minority within a few years. And the Democrats will do anything and everything to obtain those votes from those individuals and make them Democratic voters.
Now, there's an incident that happened in Tamaulipas, in Camargo. 19 migrants got calcined and they got burned by the organized crime. They got kidnapped on their way to, for their dream to migrate to the United States of America. And the strategy was from the organized crime, I will ask for $10,000. I'll keep 5 and I will charge you another 5 for you to cross. But that other 5 for you to cross, I will make you wear this backpack, as we were talking about right now. How can we make all these people, Victor, in your country, all of these people in Congress, that they want open borders? It is just unbelievable that the situation is plain there in your face. In the cartel, in the organized crime, they're telling you what they're doing, and these people want to stop the construction of the wall, and they don't want border sovereignty. What can we do to tell these people, my God, here it is?
I've been trying to do it in my book. I've been trying to do it and telling the American public and Congress and anyone that they need to know what's going down there. All you have to do is turn on the news. It's not a secret, like you said. The cartels do this. They put up these videos on YouTube. They want to intimidate. They're terrorists. That's what they do. They terrorize the country. They have the country of Mexico terrorized. They have communities. They have control up to 80% of this country, Oscar, of Mexico, either under real control or influence.
Yes.
And that's the truth. And no longer are the politicians in charge. It's the cartels that are running the show. And that's the biggest shift that I've seen in the last few years and the previous administrations, that these organized crime individuals have taken over. They're highly sophisticated. These are not drug gangs. These are highly sophisticated, organized criminals they're highly, by the way, trained, highly weaponized, you've seen the weapons that they have in their possessions. Yes. And the armored vehicles and all that. These guys are not, they have high levels of intelligence. They have people that just are telling them exactly what's going on. They have an unlimited amount of resources. They're not like a government that has a budget and ICE has to fight in Congress to get a budget. These guys have billions billions of dollars at their disposal, and they're getting armed better. They're better armed than the Mexican army, and they control the country of Mexico. And my point is that what's happening in Mexico affects the United States directly because they are here as well. They Yes. are in our communities. The spike in violence and crime that we've seen last year, a lot of it is attributed back to the cartels. Look at Chicago. Whose drugs do you think they're pushing over there? It's the cartel's drugs. It's the Sinaloa cartel. It's the Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación cartels, the methamphetamine and the fentanyl and the heroin, the cocaine that they're bringing in, and the marijuana. That's the gangs in Chicago that are dealing directly with the cartels, and all around the country, in St. Louis and Maryland, I could go on and on. And so the designation of these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations would change the game. It would really bring in new resources. It would add Department of Defense resources, and you're no longer dealing with the same rules of, I'm going to investigate this individual, and here's the capo, and I'm going to take this guy down. No, you are now just like ISIS. So if you're in the United States and you start talking to an ISIS member over the internet, the FBI is going to come knock on your door because you're now associating with a terrorist organization, right? Well, the same thing would happen if you're a gang member from Chicago associating with the Sinaloa cartel. If the Sinaloa cartel is a terrorist organization, you are now a terrorist as well, and we get to go pick you up. And it's a cumbersome task, I understand, between local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, but it can be done. I saw the response before the inauguration. They put up walls. They sent 25,000 plus troops within days. And all I was thinking, Oscar, is like, why haven't we done that at the
In
border?
the border.
Right? Because we could talk about this all day, and the crime and all that will never stop until you have border security. And it sounds as simple as that, but until you seal it and do it the right way, this will never end.
Now, you're from El Paso. You know
Yes.
your congresswoman, Veronica Escobar.
Yes. Oh my
She
goodness.
said,
Yes.
stop the construction of the wall. Then, I told you Rashida Tlaib came to Tijuana and she was advocating for the destruction of the wall, that we can do exactly what we did in Palestine. Then, not only that, you got Alexandra Ocasio saying she went to El Paso and saying that kids are drinking out of toilet water. Is it these people? I don't know what they've got in their head. Do you think what is happening in the borders right now is a subject of national security and emergency national security?
Border security is national security, plain and simple. No ifs, and or buts about it. Border security is national security. These people spew propaganda. They spew lies, and sometimes they'll throw one correct stat with all these other lies in there to get people confused about what's really going down there. Now, I'm from El Paso, and Veronica Escobar took over Robert Francis O'Rourke's position as a congresswoman, and I don't understand how she denies the safety that the city enjoys in El Paso, Texas, being one of the safest cities in the country, because there's a wall there. The wall has been there since 2006. I saw it go up. I saw the construction of the wall, and I saw the benefits of people not having illegal aliens jump in their backyard, trying to break into their house and burglarize a house. I also saw a lot of the illegal aliens stop getting run over on the highway and being killed by the traffic. I saw a lot of the petty crime get cleaned up because of the wall. But you'll never hear her say that. They will never acknowledge what good border security does for this community. This is another argument that they give. Well, we're gonna break the relationship we have between the United States and Mexico and the families that travel back and forth. Listen, I grew up there. I went to Juarez all the time. The wall went up and nothing changed. You could still go over and you could still visit your family. That's not what we're talking about here. Trade, has trade slowed down? Absolutely not. President Trump, implemented USMCA. Trade is very important, and we understand how trade is important between Mexico, United States, and Canada. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can do other things like trade, but we have to secure the border for the illicit activities that happen at the border. For example, China and the relationship that they have with the cartels, bringing all the precursors, all the chemicals, and to these super labs in Mexico that are
Yes.
making the methamphetamines there. We need to address that because China is in Mexico, and we know the threat that we face with them right now. They are looking at our vulnerabilities, and not just China, but Iran. All these other countries are looking at the vulnerabilities that we have in our border, and they're going to take advantage of those.
Now, amazing. Wow. You are really entregado. You're really, you're giving,
I'm passionate. I'm
and you're
passionate about
passionate.
it.
You're passionate, and ultimately you're really well informed. Now, your book, Victor. Your book. Let's talk about a little bit about your book. Where can they find it? How can they? They get it. You got a website. Let me put it right here. The website right here. Let me just get the website. Just 1 second. And the website is really well done. And it is called Agent Under Fire. Right here, as we are getting the website right here, as you see right here, it's online. Go ahead.
So the website is agentunderfirebook.com, agentunderfirebook.com. You could go there and order the book at whichever way you want. If you want to go through Amazon, you want to go through Barnes and Noble, do you want to go through Liberty Hill Publishing, which is my publisher? you could go through that as well. You get to choose where you order the book, or if you want to go directly through Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com, you could do that as well. You could see on my website all the media that I've done, and you could, if somebody's interested in booking me for a speaking event, I come and share my story, talk a lot about what we talked about today and current events that affect our border security. And I also share a lot about my faith, and the survival story that I went through. I am here because of the grace of God. And I like to share that story because I believe that God chose me to stay here for a reason. And I love to share that story as well. So I speak to a lot of groups, law enforcement groups, military groups, faith-based groups, even political groups. So I'm available for speaking engagements as well.
Well, there you have it, people. There you have it for people that they wanted to know a little bit about the book. Now, let me ask you questions that people want to know. They want to get to know you. So I will start. You're under the hot seat. So your favorite sport, Victor?
Soccer, football, the real football.
The favorite hobby?
Traveling.
Wow, you got to travel a lot.
I love to travel. It slowed down last year because of COVID, but I used to live in Europe and traveled a lot of Europe. And
what place?
I lived in Madrid for a couple of years.
Oh my God! So you Hala Madrid?
Madrid. I'm a big Madrid fan.
All right, favorite music?
I am A through Z on music. I'm from Cadetes de Linares all the way to ZZ Top and
everything.
I'm gonna throw something controversial, even up to The Weeknd.
What a show! Oh my God, horrible. Favorite food?
Tacos.
Yes.
And tacos al pastor from Mexico City.
Oh, you don't even know.
And by the way, I love the shrimp tacos from TJ.
No, tan buenísimos. Los Gobernador.
No,
Gobernador. With one word, describe this last names. Obama.
Corrupt.
Wow. Biden.
Incompetent.
Wow. Trump.
Leader.
Wow. Great. Reagan.
Champion.
That's a great one. ICE.
Needed.
Wow. Absolutely great. The United States of America right now.
The best place on earth.
Great. Cartel.
Terrorists.
Antifa.
Destruction.
I like it. Who's your motivation?
My family. My wife, my kids, my parents, my family.
Awesome. They're the ones that they're always there. Good times, bad times, they're always going to be there. True. Your inspiration?
I have a lot of inspirations from many different places. My family's a big inspiration to me. My parents, my father's a big inspiration for me. I'm a black belt in karate, martial arts, so that's an inspiration. So I have different areas of inspiration there, and so all those above, all the above.
That's awesome. You keep yourself in shape.
I try to. After I got shot, I gained a lot of weight, and if people go to that documentary, you're gonna be like, "Who's that guy?" But I struggled a lot with my weight after I got shot because all of a sudden I couldn't move. By the way, I still suffer from very severe back pain and hip pain, and I get injections, but at least I'm mobile.
Well, yeah, thank God. The most difficult question of all: tacos or pizza?
My goodness. Pizza from New York and tacos from Mexico City.
No me digas pizza. No me digas que pizza, tacos.
I love pizza, man. Pizza's I'm gonna give up pizza for Lent.
Okay. Now the last one. We live in difficult times, Victor.
Yes, we do.
These are really difficult times. Not only COVID, politically, it is the United States is going through a term that is really difficult. The Republican Party is completely, a complete disaster, and the Democratic Party, they are pushing communism and socialism and this radical idea. Globalization is coming to every country. There's wars and there's protests and there are riots and there's lootings everywhere. A lot of people don't have hope anymore. They believe that the United States is done, that the United States, it's conquered by all these globalists and demonic and evil people, that they want the absolute destruction of capital, the most capitalist country that exists, that is the United States of America. What are your thoughts and what is your message to the American public to have hope?
Hope never expires. And I would urge people in the U.S. to pay very close attention to what the Democrats do and not what they say. And I also urge people to pay very close attention to your local elected officials, your city council, your mayor, your county commissioners. Those are the individuals that have a major impact on what's happening in your community. Those are the ones that are putting on the restrictions, are the ones that are telling the police what to do and what not to do, what laws to enforce, these sanctuary city policies to allow illegal aliens to come in and be released and not be deported and not call ICE to pick them up. It all starts at the local level. Don't governors and congressmen and president, it's one thing, but it starts in your community, where you live, with your local elected officials. It's so important to pay more attention to who you put in there.
There you have it, people. There you have it. Retired Special Agent Supervisory Victor Avila. A great honor for me to talk to you, brother. It's a great, great honor. Thank you so much for this moment. Thank you so much. Where can they find you? The book, the website, social media, everything.
AgentUnderFireBook.com. You can follow me on Twitter at VicSurvivor11, at VicSurvivor11. And if you find me on Facebook, it's under Victor Avila.
There you go. There you have it. God bless you, Victor. God bless you. Dios te bendiga. Siempre,
Gracias.
siempre Dios te bendiga. Siempre Dios te bendiga. God bless you and thank you. There you have it. Victor Avila, for every single one of you. Thank you so much. There you have it, people. Wow. My God, man. My God. When you get a person of this credentials and this level of IQ, of the situation and the reality of what is happening in the border, you completely understand where he has come from and all the things that he has done in his career as an ICE agent. For God's sake, he got shot 3 times, put his life to defend his country. Not only that, his partner lost his life in the middle of, in the middle of a job. It is just amazing to hear the reality and the truth about an ICE agent, a retired ICE agent. This is the truth, people. There's no politicians in Washington that they're saying what is happening with child trafficking. There's no politicians that they go to the mountain and they talk to a border patrol agent and they tell them, hey, here's some water, here's some food. I look at you. You're tired. You're tired. I know you're tired. You're overwhelmed. There's no people that they're doing that service right now. And we need individuals like Victor. Victor, he needs to be in these kind of stands and these kind of pedestals. Everybody needs to push these kind of individuals and these kind of people so they can say the reality and the truth about what is happening in the borders, and they can defend your country and your sovereign nations. God bless you all. Subscribe to my channel at YouTube as Oscar Blue. Also, buy the book, Agent Under Fire. Right here, I'm going to put it on the screen again. Is the website, agentunderfire.com. You can go and, go to that website and you can actually buy the book of Victor Avila. It's a great website right here. You have, a video, and you have about the author, and then you have a little bit about him, and you go all of that. Even if you want to make himself a speaker and a media appearance and all that kind of stuff, really good stuff. All that stuff. You got it right here with Victor. So God bless you all. You can follow me at YouTube as Oscar L. Blue. Subscribe to my channel at YouTube as Oscar L. Blue. Also, you can follow me and my channel at Telegram as Oscar L. Blue. And also, you can follow me right here at Facebook. Share it. Share this video and like it if you want. Great interview with somebody that is right there. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Follow my partner at Telegram and also at YouTube and Facebook, Real Anthony Agüero. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, peace and love, everybody. Because always, your country is first. God bless.